Hey Google, what is Star Citizen?
According to Wikipedia, Star Citizen is an upcoming multi combat.
Stop! 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 Hey Google! Hey Google! Stop! You couldn't hear it because I fiddled with my mic, but I asked Google about Star Citizen and it was saying how much of a scam it was. No, it's going on a lot of stuff. It did not want to stop. It doesn't know my voice anymore. It hates me. Why you hate me, Google? Oh my god. How much RAM and tabs am I using today? Guys, have a guess. How much RAM memory that I'm using on Google Chrome currently? Have a guess. Oh my god, Jaden Cat. Oh no, okay, that's a lot. That's a lot more than it actually is. That's a lot more. Less than all of those guesses. Do you like it that I'm this close to the microphone? Like it's ASMR? BoredGamer, bringing you the news. Very close to your ears. You having a cup of tea? Give me 1 second, I'm just gonna check my emails. Oh. Started painting a load of, actually I'll say that on stream. Maybe. Yeah, the problem I have. Okay, let's make this beautiful. Let me tell you the problem I have. There is a fucking list. My shiny head, which is partially dissolved. Is that a problem? Let's make that less of a problem. Will this fix it? Yes, it does. Bam. That'll fucking do. I need to sort my lighting out properly. I will do that. I'll put it on the list of things to do. At the moment, Zin is... I've given her a video I was going to release this morning and said, Zin, add value to this shit video. Let me be more precise there. It's not shit. It's a quality BoredGamer video, but it's terribly edited. And I was like, can you just make it a bit better somehow? It's like a tips and tricks and useful information for 3.9 guide, like how to make a bit more alpha UEC, how some stuff that you can do to save yourself some time and stuff. So hopefully you'll be able to make something look a bit better with what I've got there. I was going to release it earlier, but she's working on it at the moment. So at 6 PM if she's finished, or she's going to be finished soon, or release what she's got. If she's going to take another day on it, then I'll probably release maybe the video originally. I don't know. We'll see. Oh yeah, how much RAM am I using for the Chrome tabs? That's a good point. Okay. So I've got a paltry 90 open. My most I've had open, I think, was 163 before. Let's bring this up on screen. We've got 90 tabs open. We've got 8.8 gigs used. Yeah. So I mean, People were saying like 37 gigs. I think I made it sound more impressive than it was. I've done that with women and Star Citizen. Hello, hello. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm in a good mood today. My dad is doing very well at the moment. He is was around the house. We're chatting, which was great. Able to hold a conversation. Buying him a lot of meat. I'm going to be buying him lots of full rib of beef. I'm going to go to the butcher tomorrow. I phoned up the butcher and went, right, have you got this? Have you got this? Have you got this? Are you still open? Butcher really close to my house. I'm going to go and walk there. Yeah, that's going to be my exercise for the day. I'm going to like wrap my face up like a mummy. And then go buy some meat. Essential goods. So I'm going to buy a load of meat. I'm going to be like, cool. Yeah, my dad's doing really well at the moment. So thank you so much for all the kind messages, quite genuinely. It's at the very least, those kind messages have helped me like have a couple of smiles when I was really down about stuff. But it's not awful anymore. It's sort of like it's bearable. I do appreciate people's concern, but thank you. So there's lots of stuff going on with 3.9 at the moment. Obviously, there was a load of back-end problems. Let me put some glasses on. These glasses will do. Makes me look smarter. Oh. It also helps me not see blurrily when I'm at my computer. So, yeah, loads of problems with 3.9. Some of them have been fixed. Quite a lot of some of the major ones have been fixed. There's a load more as well, though. So there's loads of back-end problems with the servers. And basically, CIG have said, look, we've had these problems. The back-end servers are now working again. Let me bring this up and show you. Actually, that's a good idea. So this back-end services and service disruption stuff that was going on is now resolved, apparently. Everything is operational, but there's still, obviously, servers aren't perfect yet. The game is still alpha. Just because this partial outage for their services has been resolved doesn't mean that there aren't going to still be a buttload of problems constantly. But the initial issues with 3.9, people not getting into the game, the game constantly crashing for certain reasons. What else? People's Alpha UEC being copied over. So it looks like they fixed the problem now, but they have also said that they're not going to be able to fix. They're not going to be able to retroactively port people's Alpha UEC across. So some people, a lot of people, didn't get that Alpha UEC from their accounts attributed to their 3.9 account. So you basically lost it from the 3.8 branch. And that's a massive shame. Some people were suggesting resetting your account is a way to go around that and to fix that. And that's had mixed success with people that have tried that. However, CIG have said, look, the account reset tool is there to be used for if your account is basically inoperable. If you can't get your ships back, if like the ships are broken, if you are having problems like you can't load into the game at all, stuff like that. So really big problems. So it's better that in mind. Use the account reset if you need to. The status page is really useful though. There's lots of other pages which are useful at the moment. The telemetry page, for example. Although the telemetry page is not telemetry. Let's bring this up on the screen. The telemetry page as well. Now this is not fully populated yet, so I'm hoping this gets more populated soon. My configuration is, I want it to be here. I want my configuration to be here. So this will be populated in the next couple of weeks or so, I would expect, with a bit more data showing what people's systems and frame rates that they're getting. You can see at the moment though, frame rates are much lower than they were with the previous patch. Well, actually, that's not true. Of the same systems, it's only a bit lower. Okay, might not even be. Not enough information yet to make a decision on that. I'll wait until this is all updated. But I've noticed lower frame rates in game. Try to make sure that your VoIP is off. VoIP, a load of people have VoIP on, they don't use VoIP, and it drains your frame rates. Even Salty Mike, I was talking to him about it earlier. He was like, oh, let me check if it's on. Oh, it's on. I was like, what that? You fools! Boop. What else was there? There was another page. Oh, issue council in general was obviously very useful. Title of the stream, 3.10. If people want to ask any questions, question in brackets, bam, I'll have a read of that in a bit. So, CIG are basically saying that they're saving 4.0 as the moniker for a patch name for when they've got the Pyro system in-game. So until then, they're going to change the naming conventions. The most logical and sensible way of changing that, apparently, well, at least what's been rumoured, is 3.10 as the next patch. So we've got 3.9 now. Rather than it being 4.0 at the end of June, it will be 3.10. Now, it's just a number, but for some reason it irks me. It irks me. And what are we going to have for 4.0? Well, hopefully we're going to get a bit of an update this Friday. So I would expect actually quite a big update this Friday or soon. Changing, adding a lot to this and maybe moving some bits off. The NPC scheduler is really, really important. That will also have spawn lockers, I assume. Yes, so spawn lockers. So if we get that in 4.0, that will have the ability for NPCs to spawn and despawn in a sensible manner and just like off screen effectively. They'll be able to go into an area that's got like a one-way door or air shield or something where they go and spawn and despawn. Shield replacement tech, the long-awaited sign distance field tech for shields, absolutely great. And with either of those make it into 4.0, awesome. Height map improvements, better looking terrain. Load new weapons for FPS and a revision of the mass drivers. Cool. I really want to see the Lightning Bolt Company's UPUs. We've got the Cutlass Blue and the M50 improvements in here as well. Cutlass Blue, is it going to have a quantum enforcement drive or the options to have a quantum enforcement drive? I actually think so now. I think it might have a modular ability to change its center module out. So we'll have to wait and see about that. Elevator panel updates, cool. They're changing and updating all the UIs for everything. We've got a load of new stuff that was moved out from 3.9. So high-speed combat and the new targeting methodology. We should actually see much better combat and for ship-to-ship, PvP, all that sort of jazz. It'll be interesting to see what they've got up their sleeve for that. It might be trash. I'm hoping it's not. They really need to hit some home runs. Again, with the ship HUD reworks and updates, that's sort of like adding to the ship experience and combat. Going to be able to surrender rather than just die. Restricted area rework, so we're going to have better interaction with cities when we're flying over them and stuff like that. Body dragging, that'll be cool. Will it be in some missions? Will it have players being stunned and knocked down and us be able to rescue them? Great if it is going to be that for 4.0 or 3.10. But it might just be very basic. You can drag bodies, but it doesn't really add to the gameplay at this stage. If people have noticed in 3.9, AI has actually been a good amount better for the most part when they're working. And it's significantly better. So I'm hoping that these improvements for FPS AI are going to make them a lot better as well. They're a bit better in 3.9, I've noticed, but these FPS improvements for 4.0 for 3.10 be pretty good. Grimhex getting updates, making it into a real landing zone. That's cool. I suppose what's going to happen is when you die, if you are a criminal or an outlaw, you'll spawn at Grimhex, unless you are dying next to bounty hunters / security forces, in which case you'll go to prison. And then Grimhex will have all the facilities that outlaws need to be able to operate from it properly, and that should actually make some more interesting hot zones and areas in the game. Getting some shop additions for New Babbage as well. Anything good? We've got souvenirs and knickknacks store, a flair store basically for customization of like putting random things in your ship and eventually your hab. And then we've got a shop which sells stuff that are we going to be able to use in the next patch or not? So they talk about sell things like SimPods and Moby glasses. Cool. We've got different Moby glasses. We've got the ability to put a SimPod somewhere. Great. Then we can play Arena Commander or Theatres of War from in-game, maybe. I think that was the original plan. And we're going to have Eddie Parr, the new mission giver, which should have something like, maybe, the mission we've got here that was shown at CitizenCon 2019, or at least eventually we'll have to have something like that. But Eddie Parr should have his own hero mission or chain of hero missions. Now, are we going to see the what's it called? The Idris mission for 4.0? I hope so. I would hope to see the Idris that we were supposed to have in 3.9 in 4.0. Is it going to be ready? Maybe. Who knows? I don't. I hope it is. Narek, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. Toblith, what the? That was ages ago you sent that. Hey man, how's it hanging? When do you think we're going to see more information about the economy per player manufacturing and markets? Did you read Starship Troopers yet? No. I haven't read Starship Troopers yet. I've been reading my friend's book after the monkey ate my cheese. I say friends, my friend's dad's book. Which is about a gentleman that set up a market research company. Sort of like a partial biography. Partial autobiography, I suppose. And his sort of like experiences setting up his own company and running his own business. And some of his business not being used as appropriately by the companies that use his stuff. So he would basically do market analysis and metrics, sort of working out what customers wanted and what they thought of you on social media and stuff in like the 80s. So really, really early on. And he'd use that data to suggest how sort of companies should operate and things like that. But the companies would use that information to sort of justify, well, they wanted it to justify their actions rather than to change their actions. Whereas his company would be best used to go, how should we operate after reviewing this? What's the next step? Whereas they just wanted to use the information to go, what we have done is the correct thing, right? Which is a weird thing. But after the monkey ate my cheese, check it out if you're interested in sort of people setting around their own businesses. The early days of understanding how social media and that sort of stuff impacted your company. Really, really cool. Recommend it. I will read Starship Troopers at some point. I'm going to get it on an audiobook. I've got a physical copy. Toblith, if I meet you IRL, I'm going to make you sign my copy of Starship Troopers. I might get a better hardback version if they exist, actually. Robert Johnston! Glad they're saving 4.0 milestone for a new system. Are you? I think it's just a random number. I know a lot of people are probably happy with 4.0 being used for a milestone thing. But Toblith, thank you so much for the ridiculous amount of money. That's very much appreciated. Thank you very much, Robert Johnston, in general, for giving so much money over your lifetime, of the lifetime of my channel. It is very much appreciated. Narek for subbing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are a attractive man or woman. Thank you. So how much RAM are you using Chrome tabs? We talked about that. That was a lot, but not as much as people thought. When is the shield system getting reworked? It's planned for the roadmap for the June 2020 patch, which is currently listed as 4.0, which is going to be renamed 3.10, we suspect. In 3.9, we knew there was server-wide Idris missions. You see that returning before 4.0. I suspect that the Idris mission is going to be in 3.10. It's my expectation at the moment. And when do you think the ships like the Polaris will be actively worked on? There's going to be a push for Squadron 42 ships this year. And then a few other ships. Getting a load of the ships that they can sensibly in-game that are already on the roadmap. So I think we'll see work on the Polaris towards the end of the year, but it's not, and it could probably be in-game next year, end of next year. That's sort of my expectation of that. How am I? I'm doing all right, actually. I'm doing pretty well at the moment. Pretty happy today. My dad is doing well. I've got delicious foods. I've not been great on my diet recently, though I've started getting back to it now. Do you think the Nautilus will be one of the Squadron 42 ships? So I believe there's supposed to be mines from the Nautilus in Squadron 42. I'm not sure if we'll see the Nautilus in Squadron 42, if you see what I mean. Let's have a look. Oh, so Tobleth, let me actually address the rest of your question. Oh no, well, next time you're in Austin for CitizenCon, you should hit me up. Okay. I'm feeling every day. I'm feeling better and better about traveling. So I think I'll have to start doing stuff like that. I'm gonna have to start traveling for CitizenCon for meetups, and I want to sort of like start enjoying my life. I've been accruing YouTube money for like the last 3 years. It's been reasonably good money. Just getting my first employee, hopefully in June. I'm sort of in this sort of doing some training at the moment, and assuming she's okay with working for me, I'm happy with her work already because my editing is so bad that everything's an improvement. And Star Citizen's going to become more and more mainstream. That the channel should expand quite a lot. So I'm looking forward to that. But I want to start enjoying some stuff. I love computer games. I love Star Citizen meetups, and I want to start traveling for some of those. Yeah, I'll be more active, and I'll worry about the channel less. Like I've been making at least 6 videos a week for 3 years, 4 years, maybe longer. It's been a long time, and being able to get just literally record the audio for a video and then give it to Zin and go, Zin, you make this video work. Here's the script, here's the audio, and here's what it's supposed to explain and all the links. Go fucking mad. That's going to be really, really good. When are we going to see more economy information? So they're going to start talking more and more about the Quanta system because they're working on it. And dynamic economy and dynamic missions is core to the persistent universe. It's not core to Squadron 42, but it is core to the persistent universe. And obviously they're not just working on the core of Squadron 42 and stuff that's transferable between both engines. They are obviously working on network code and lots of important stuff for the persistent universe as well. So I think we're going to start seeing bits of the economy more and more in like inside Star Citizens and that sort of stuff. And I think we will probably see an implementation sort of middle. It'll probably be yeah, we're gonna have it first quarter of 2021. We'll have some sort of implementation properly of the Quanta system and the dynamic economy and stuff like that. But it's probably more likely to get pushed back to Q2 2021. In fact, probably see more of it at CitizenCon this year. If we had CitizenCon this year, and this is a big shame. So CitizenCon this year has been cancelled, and CIG instead are going to do a sort of in-game event, potentially a celebration, some form of celebration instead. But it's not going to be the same as CitizenCon. Could we see some cool videos and some teasers and some gaming stuff, some demos? Maybe, but I'm not expecting it in the same way. Robert Johnston, nearly 3 a.m. here, going to bed, keep the noise down, good night. Thank you very much, Robert Johnston, mate. You're a legend amongst people. Thank you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you haven't gone mad because of lockdown. And thank you very much for staying up to watch me. Very much appreciated. And yeah, Tobleth, I think I'm going to start organising some... So potentially before CitizenCon's in Austin, I'll probably try and potentially have a look to see how viable it is. Organise a big Star Citizen event, a Bar Citizen in Austin or something in the next 18 months? Question mark? Lockdown? Question mark? What do we got here? I enjoyed meeting you at BrizzCon 2018. Hopefully the do CitizenCon in LA next year. Oh yeah. I would expect them to. I was so excited. I'm so close. Hope to see you there. No way, Sunk Shark, mate. Yeah, I think that I'd like to travel for some of these events now. And having someone working for me that I can literally just send audio back to makes me just go, I can leave the channel in good hands and not have to worry about not getting videos out. Like, that's CitizenCon and the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo and major patch releases are my bread and butter for the most part. And as Star Citizen gets more and more mainstream, that's going to only get better and bigger and give me more bread and more butter. Or more butter for my bread. I don't know where I was going with that, but you get my meaning. When will Lawville stop tumble drying my cutlass? It's dry enough already. let's say, okay, so, okay, there is a lot of wind on some planets, okay? And the Cutlass and the Carrack are a lot less weighty or massy than they should be, and do just go poof and blow away sometimes. So bear that in mind when you are using those ships. When do you feel, based on your extensive knowledge stored in your great egg, we will see vehicle sparring? What, does it mean spawning? Do you mean spawning, Triton? In ships, such as spawning a river and sun into the Carrack. What? What? Sparring? What? River and sun? What? Are you having a stroke? Am I having a stroke? Spawning in ships, docking is planned for 4.1, I believe, at the moment, or 3.11, if they call it that. So the Q3 2020 patch. That is when we should see spawning in ships. I'm hoping we see it in in Q2 patch, but it's much more likely we'll see it in the Q3 patch. With docking. How much more improved must 3.9 get before free flight's feasible? I mean, they could release it now. It doesn't need to improve anymore for it to be feasible, for it to be sensible. They really need the 3.9.1 patch, in my opinion, that fixes some of the mission accessibility, fixes frame rates, and gets servers stable for most people. Sort of the 30k and 16,000 errors need to be nailed down to an extent. I mean, they're still going to happen, obviously, but you want people to be able to play for 2 hours without terrible desync and without crashing. Yeah? And without something going, nope, this mission didn't spawn. Nope, you can't do that. I mean, ship and ship spawning. No worries at all. Yeah. Ship and ship spawning, probably with docking in 4.1, the Q3 2020 patch. So I say, I'm going to start to say Q2, Q3 2020 patches and stuff like that. Because 3.9, the next patch after that, they're basically saying they're saving 4.0 for another, sort of like when we have the Pyro system. So they're going to call the 4.0 patch the Q2 2020 patch, 3.10 instead, probably. That's probably what they're going to call it. Although they haven't confirmed the new naming system for patches. Naming convention, I suppose. Love your shiny potato head. Glad you are able to bring on your editor at last. The content is great, and I assume the content will only get better now. Yes, the editing will only get better, and hopefully I'll be able to do a lot more videos. And they will be a lot better. Zin is slaving away at the moment, trying to work out how to do a lot of the editing-y type stuff. I'm not sure how much brief I should give her beyond make this better. Here's the script, or and here's the audio. Or but this time I literally gave her this is a really quickly chopped together tips and guides video. Bam! Can you add value to it? Sort of, I'm getting her to test things and learn things by giving her odd tasks. And you should hopefully see that video later today. If for some reason she's not happy with it or whatever, then I might delay it until tomorrow, or I might just release my original one. So, hello, I hope you're doing well. Right. What have we got here? Oh, there's a lot of comment. Is it safe to say that we might get the Polaris by the end of this year? No, it is not safe to say that. It is a possibility, it's just unlikely. You think 3.10 will finally include a soap bar for prisons? Every time you pick up the soap, you get 1 merit? I mean, they'll probably have flare soap at some point. I don't... The implication or the reference for the soap is probably not something that... It requires a mature sense of humour. Oh no. Adrian A. Reddit is just another censored bullshit platform, but the weird thing is, they do allow the angry, offended people. They just censor political opinions. I'm not sure what that was referencing, but that was caught in my my thingy. It got caught in my thingy. What else we got here? Eat something, you sexy bastard. my ASMR. I fucking hate that. Okay, the problem is that with the ASMR stuff, okay, for some people, for a lot of people, I think, it's probably a bit of a, you know, a fetishy thing, isn't it? And that just is weird to me. I don't like the sound of ASMR. I don't like people going. I don't know if you can even hear that. I haven't set my microphone up for ASMR. I'm going to give you all the Star Citizen news right to your ears. It's like, it's weird. It's weird. Weird. Hello, my pasty friend. Oh, hi. Mate, I've got a very, very hungry Chrome tabs. I think tomorrow a new PC is turning up for me. And I'll talk about that. That's nothing to do with Star Citizen, or at least it's nothing to do with CIG. I've been contacting some. Hello. Yes. Hi. I'm a little busy at work at the moment. Well, I can drop you a call when I'm free. No worries at all. Thanks. Professional. I've got Stairlift put in, and now I just constantly get calls from Stairlift companies that I've never heard of, or ones I have heard of. Just constantly calling me. I've already got one put in. I said the last time, oh yeah, I'll call you if I need you for anything. Now they just keep a random one keeps on calling me back. It's not CIG. Oh, 1 second, got another one. Hey Chris. Yeah. Thanks for the mic. No, what do you think? Look, okay. Oh, I came to a decision as well. Okay, my current decision for some stuff, yeah, is I'm gonna stay in the Evocati. I'm a terrible Evocati tester. I don't test much, and I'm bad, okay? There's a load of Evocati members that are really fucking good, they do a load of work, and they deserve a standing ovation for helping out with a load of bugs and being good at Evocati. I'm bad at Evocati, okay? Maybe one day I'll be better at Evocati. Hopefully, maybe I should pull my weight a bit more. But I'm busy! I'm making the YouTube monies, okay? But I'm going to stay in Evocati, that gives me at least ability to plan content and gives me a bit more of an insight on stuff. That just sort of makes sense. There's only so much insight you can get from, like, leaks and Evocati leaks, and they might not be accurate. So I think I'll continue with insight rather than leaks. And there's loads of other channels that cover the leaks, and maybe CIG will eventually crack down on them anyway. So I think that makes sense. CIG do offer ships occasionally, especially with major releases, for no strings attached giveaways. Now, I've talked about this a couple of times. I did a poll. I think it was like 82% of people said take ships from CIG if it's no strings attached for giveaways, and just give them away on a channel or whatever. As long as you're giving them away, as long as you're transparent, that's fine. I'm always going to remain transparent on my channel, but I'm probably going to take ships from CIG, or at least I'm thinking about doing it, because it just seems stupid not to. Look, I like Star Citizen. I don't mind. People call me a shill all the fucking time anyway, and I'm going, well, as long as I'm transparent, it's fine, isn't it? Or is it not? I don't fucking know. I have such a weird feeling about this. But when it's free stuff for my channel to give away to my audience, I don't want to go, no, actually, I don't want a Prowler. Stick your Prowler up your arse, CIG. I don't want to say that. I want to go, oh, I would love your Prowler. Thank you very much for recognizing how much of a beautiful potato I am, and I can give that to someone random on my channel or do a giveaway for it, and that's fair enough, right? As long as I'm transparent about it. I don't want to ever be in the position where I'm going, I don't want to offend or upset CIG, because they'll take away my free things. I don't want to ever be in that position. Well, I mean, I'm slightly in that position from the Evocati. I can't cover Evocati leaks, because I've got an NDA. I will respect the NDA, I mean, that's a little bit different, I think. Same with office tours. I get to go on office tours occasionally, hopefully when the world's not locked down anymore. And yeah, it'd be... I respect the NDAs then. I see some stuff about Squadron 42 or a new ship or something. I go, I can't talk about that unless I try and ask about it in an interview. If I have like an interview with Aaron or something afterwards, bam, I might ask about it and see if it makes it into the interview. Do you see what I mean? So as long as people aren't incredibly annoyed about that, I'd like to do that because I think that would actually, you know, give something back. It does help me. Of course it fucking helps me because it's promotion for my channel. It expands the channel. But, I think maybe I was just being a bit stupid not accepting ships for no strings attached, ships for giveaway. As long as they are no strings attached, as long as I remain transparent about it, I think it's fine. But I'm willing to listen to other people's opinions and views on that. But that's probably what I'm going to do. I do want the channel to be a paragon of integrity. Or, you know, cover Star Citizen. I'm a fucking shield. Fuck you. Bam! 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 Chief Boyardy, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. I do appreciate it. Sorry for swearing at the stream. Constructive criticism is never a bad thing. I mean, so I think the thing is with my Star Citizen coverage, I cover a lot of the news. I regurgitate a lot of what CIG say. And I will occasionally give my opinions on certain things. When it comes to state of the game and stuff, I will talk about stuff quite clinically to an extent. When it's like new ships and tours. When it's new ships and new tours locations, I'm typically very excited to get them. It's the first time I've seen them or had them in my hands properly. I'll be like, I love this. Oh, this is fucking great. This is awesome. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, how cool is this? With everything. Or at least a lot of the stuff. Because it's new and exciting. And I release those like early tours and things. So, but I am critical sometimes of stuff, when I don't like it, when this stuff's buggy as hell. But I do cover the game, and I cover it in a typically positive manner, because I am positive about the game. I like the game. So, and I'm sort of happy about being called a shield by people now, because I do shield for my own channel, and I've got an incentive that Star Citizen, I want it to be good. I understand that it's not always going to be good, and not all elements of it are going to be good, and it's going to take a long time to get to where I want it to be. It's a long development process still. Many, many years. It will probably be the most expensive game ever made, and for years to come. And it's going to be probably the longest development of any game that's a visible development. So, for years to come again. Yeah, so we are going to be getting a 3.9.1 patch almost certainly in May, and that's going to be probably part of Fleet Week. So there's some stuff happening in May. Theatres of War is going to have its first tests, probably just for a test weekend. They might expand after that. They might take feedback after doing the test weekend, and then have another sort of like, another phase, another test. Great, really looking forward to Theatres of War. That's some great content I can do on stream. Nice and easy to play. Bam, plays Theatres of War. Don't really have to care if I do well or not. Just run around and chat and answer questions still. Cool. Play that with Zin as well. Looking forward to some other games as well, but we'll talk about later. Survival games typically, like Children of the Forest, like Green Hell, that's getting story mode in multiplayer. Cool. Me and Zin have very briefly looked at Green Hell, and we're like, this is actually a pretty good game. And we've played Forest before, so we want to play the Forest again, co-op multiplayer, and then play Sons of the Forest, which is the next game, which looks fucking amazing. Sorry, I went a bit off piece there. Also talking about something about Star Citizen, I'm sure. Theatres of War. Oh, stuff happening in May. So we're gonna have Fleet Week in May as well, which is any time in May, it seems. I was a little bit off with my original expectation that it was gonna be the first week of May. It's between Emancipation Day and Armistice Day, which is the 2nd of May and the 28th of May, I think. So anywhere between that is typically where Fleet Week would be. And that will have a free flight. That will have ship sales. Might have some new stuff. People are talking about potentially having the F8 Lightning in there. That might be just a rumor. That might garner CIG a lot of anger from some of the community, although a lot of people will probably still buy it. But it's crazy that Squadron 42 beta will be released this year. Okay, so Even if Squadron 42 is on schedule, yeah, which I don't suspect it is because of the global situation, and generally I wouldn't, even without the current global pandemic, I wouldn't have expected it to be on track as the roadmap is anyway. But even if it is, the beta that CIG are doing for Squadron 42 is a closed studio beta. It's a studio dev build beta. It's not for our consumption. It's not even for Eva Carty's consumption, as far as we are aware. They might have some Eva Carty tests, maybe if they need them. So bear that in mind, please. Like, even if it is on track, that beta is not a beta for us to play this year. Any word on Fleet Week or Free Fly? So it's somewhere this month. I'm expecting a 3.9.1 patch to coincide with it, the Emerald P72, but also anything else that they add for Fleet Week. It just sort of makes sense, and some fixes for the 3.9 branch. All of those original problems that were caused with 3.9 have been fixed. The service outage has been fixed. Where the heck is the Connie Taurus? That is a good question. And we don't know, and it's weird that it's not in our hands yet, because it should just be a cut-down version of the Constellation. Now, it's been rumoured that they're redoing bits of the Constellation, doing it a like rework for all of them, and they're going to have the Constellation Taurus at the same time, which is a possibility. Might not be. I would like strutless Constellation cockpits, just sort of like rigid glass. That would be cool. Uh, 1600X and 1060 run at 1080p fine. It will be able to, because Star Citizen will be a lot more scalable. I'm not sure how powerful a 1060 is tangibly. I think it's probably okay for 1080p. The real question is how much cards from 4.0/3.10 will be delayed as people thanks CIG on the Spectrum? What? So I'm a little bit confused by that question. How much will features be delayed on 3.10 for the next patch? So I'm expecting to see an update this week, some changes to the roadmap, some additions to the roadmap. They'll probably put like the Idris mission on the roadmap and things like that, but some stuff will almost certainly be pushed off to later this year. Hello. Hope you're doing okay, Asuna. When will the big-ass ships come into game? So we've got the 890 jump and stuff. The larger capital ships, we might be seeing the Idris, an NPC Idris. Won't be boardable, unlikely to be boardable, but it shouldn't be boardable. They basically said it wasn't in the version they had planned for 3.9 anyway. For the end of June patch, for the Q2 2020 patch, we might see the Idris. Why does 3.10 sound so annoying to you? Because it doesn't make sense for patch iteration number in my head. Some other stuff that might happen during Fleet Week, community competitions, so like screenshot competitions, video competitions. They're going to want tutorials as well. At the moment, CIG are looking for tutorials. Any people that can make tutorials for any specific systems, new player guides, old player guides, quick start tutorials, whatever. I think they're all useful. Individual mechanics. Would love to see a setup video. Can you be more specific by what you mean by setup video? Do you think 3.10 will finally include a soap bar? We talked about that. You shill hard for that book, brother. It's because it's one of my best friend's dads. And I talked to him at length at their wedding. And I was really fucking interested in his business and what he'd been through. And he didn't really like talking about it too much. He was like, well, that's happened in my past. I was like, I'm hoping he wrote the book partly because of my sort of massive interest in it. It's a new book. After the monkey ate my cheese. But It's still hard. What have we got? What have we got? I love the board Kirby. Thank you very much. It looks beautiful. I mean, call it 3.9.5. I mean, that's a possibility. That is a possibility. But it depends on how long it's going to be until we have the Pyro system. We're not going to have Pyro until Q1 or Q2 2021. And what if it gets pushed back further? When do you think we will see the next pledge ship? Okay, so when do we think we'll see the new next concept or new straight-to-flyable ship? Quite possibly during Fleet Week, so possibly during May. We know that there was something about an Origin ship, though that could have been the 600i Executive Edition. Although I do think it's probably a new Origin ship is planned. We do know that they've got a Tavaran fighter, a Xi'an cargo ship, a mobile refinery ship, and a mining vehicle for the ground, all planned. The mobile refinery is a ship. And people have been talking about the F8C, the Lightning civilian version, potentially going on sale. That's a possibility. Raging Sage, thank you so much. Very much appreciated for the sub. So yeah, I'd expect Fleet Week, sometime in May, it's when I would expect. It's really weird that we haven't had a flyable ship sale or a concept sale. Typically we have the first one of the year mid-February, and it is what? Beginning of May now, and we still haven't had a ship sale. And CIG are still putting in a fuck ton of money. Like lots and lots and lots. And I suppose that's a little bit because people are locked in at home and they're wanting stuff to play. So their audience has expanded. And I mean, they're not hitting home runs with the patch releases, but they are constantly developing and adding stuff to patches. 3.9's release was a bit rocky and a bit bumpy, especially with the service outages. And only some people's Alpha UBC persisting across to 3.9, which is a big shame. But it's alpha for a reason. And I'm hoping that it gets better and better and better, and it should. What else have we got here? What do you think of the criticism the game has been receiving in the past year? Some of it's fair. Some of it's a bit, angry and random. So you get this mixture of criticism, which is specifically to the gameplay mechanics and slow development. Cool. Don't like this mechanic. Cool. That's good criticism. Constructive. Make a thread on it. Talk about it. But don't be like, it has to be like this or whatever. You can talk about what you like and what you don't like and how you would potentially fix it or whatever. That's all cool. Get involved with those threads. Get involved with what you want to see from development. You can, I think, fairly criticise that Star Citizen is a slow development. It's still going to be a slow development, however long you criticise it for. So bear that in mind. Star Citizen is a very transparent project, and I think people sort of like try and make it like, oh, it's not as transparent as you think, and everyone's incompetent there. Don't agree with that, but I do think that's the way that a lot of people say it. I do think there's inefficiency at CIG, and I do think they make the wrong decisions sometimes, and I think that's fine to talk about in a civil manner. And I think that some of the criticism that CIG and Star Citizen gets is fair. Not all of it, some of it. Some of it's just angry ranting from people. And I think you get that with any game and any game community as well. You get people saying scam. That doesn't make sense as an argument. And that sort of stuff. If you criticize the flight model, criticize the development, criticize specific parts of it, you don't say all of it's shit. Like it's not. It's not. So. When do you think the Banner Merchantman will be able to be flyable? So it's a while off. End of next year at the earliest is my expectation, because it's a complex ship. It's got shops on it. They are working on potentially some of that back-end stuff so that you can have persistent shops on your ship with the item cache, and I suspect they need like full well, they would need full persistence as well. Victim each? Thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. You're new here as well, Mr. Victim, or Mrs. Victim, or Ms. Big Tim. For a scam, this game is pretty expensive and expensive as well, Manus. Boom. Thanks for the stream. No worries at all. When do we expect ship and ship spawning to be addressed? At 4.1 or the Q3 2020 patch? Because 4.1 might be now called 3.11. And expect to see updates for that this Friday. We've got, actually later today, that's a really good point, so I'm clicking in my mic. We've got the monthly report coming out for Star Citizen, Persistent Universe, and Squadron 42. There's supposed to be someone in May, Brian Chambers, I mean, it could be today, but Brian Chambers at some point is going to be updating us somehow on Squadron 42 stuff. Is the Kraken coming in the Squadron 42 before the Persistent Universe? I don't know. I don't have any extra info on the Kraken that is not public, and there's very little information on it, in fact. When is the next patch and update? The game's totally broken for me. I can't get tram to Rikers, but nothing will spawn in past the platform. Worked fine in the PT before then. Benj, try deleting your user folder, or the shader folder in your user folder. If you can't do anything and your account's effectively broken, reset your account. That should fix those problems if you literally are broken and can't do anything. There should be a 3.9.1 patch coming in May at some point, is what the expectation is. And then we've got, so obviously, the next major patch is end of June. Apologies if this is asked a lot. No, feel free to ask it anyway. Squadron 42 release, is that likely within the next 2 years? Yes. I would expect a Squadron 42 release within the next 18 months, if not sooner, even with the global situation. But it's likely. I mean, that is not a confirmation. That is not a confirmation, but it's very likely. When do you think full pad refueling, rearming will be fixed for all landing pads? The problem is they can fix stuff like that and it will break again when they do things. So it works for the most part in a lot of places. Like 95% of the time it works for me. Reddit is full of angry trolls. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there is angry people on Reddit, or people that have a very specific etiquette and sort of like way of socializing on Reddit. And you'll get that with any specific Reddit or subreddit. Or forums. Like you'll have that on Spectrum in some areas of Spectrum. You'll have that in Reddit in some areas of the Star Citizen Reddit. You'll have that on my community. Not so much my community, because all my community are amazing. How do I do a heart? I have to do that. Opinion, the Idris won't be back till server meshing is complete. A server can't hold anymore. This is the reason why Horizon moved back 6 months, even though it was 2/3 complete. Server-side object container streaming should actually account for a lot of this and be fine. With 50 players on the server can hold a huge amount, because they just, stand by the areas that aren't being used. So I don't think that's much of an issue anymore, or as much. I think that's fine for them to have an Idris as well, for that sort of thing. At least in my opinion, and as my understanding. Do you think funding will decrease for CIG due to the global situation? I don't know. CIG have made a lot of money over the last few months, even without ship sales. It's an interesting one, because gaming and sort of this sort of form of entertainment, people are desperate for, because they need to not be bored. And although 2020 has actually been reasonably good for games in general so far for me, like Final Fantasy Remake and stuff like that as well, I think there's a craving for Star Citizen, and it's getting more and more and more people. It's becoming more and more mainstream. So, and once a few big streamers start streaming it, I think they're onto a winner. Can we expect weather to accumulate on all ships and player items? Yeah, so weather and wear is supposed to be like that. You will see signs of degradation of the dust, snow, and all that sort of stuff. The snow will melt, though, and things like that. With all the trash being thrown around the Star Citizen universe, is it safe to say that by the time our grandchildren are using our ships, you believe the pollution will negatively affect them? What? What? Yeah, why not? No, you cannot have my phone number. Oh, there's lots of big capital letters. Oh. What else have we got here? Are you expecting any changes to the roadmap with the renaming? Yeah, I would expect some changes to the 4.0 names and some movement on the roadmap as well. And we should probably, at some point this month, get a new way of them giving us data for the Squadron 42 roadmap. So yeah, I would expect some reasonable changes this week, or at least this month. When can I send my money to my friends? So in-game and Star Citizen, wallet-to-wallet transactions will be a thing at some point. But obviously in the short term, you can use server beacons to do it, sort of like bodged way of doing it, or share mission rewards from in-game now. Yeah, wallet-to-wallet transactions at some point, I would hope that before the end of this year. What do you think about branching out into other games and making videos on others? Maybe be able to expand your reach and business? Certainly for streaming, I'll be streaming games like The Forest and lots of survival games, lots of multiplayer stuff. Certainly. If I really, 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 really love any other games, I'll either put them on my second channel or make videos of them on my primary channel, maybe in the future. I'll talk about it in the future if I find anything. Like Cyberpunk. I'll probably do a Cyberpunk playthrough. Zin will probably do a Cyberpunk playthrough. And we'll put them probably both on the channel. With all the drinking we have to do now, will we get bathrooms unlocked soon? So bathrooms are there, but the hygiene needs to be added to, and potentially tiredness, but hygiene needs to be added to the player status system, which will probably take into account you showering, washing, getting dirty, and you using the bathroom for poo-poo and pee-pee, which might have a cooldown, which sort of makes sense, yeah? And that will affect potentially your stamina, but the way people treat you. Maybe it will affect like you getting injured and things as well. Potentially, like you're really dirty all the time, you're more likely to get some sort of horrible infection if you get shot. Are you avoiding my question, if I may ask? I would just like to know your take on it, since most of your videos are focused on patch notes and helping new players. I did not see your question. You didn't put question in brackets on it. The SFC? Well, at least I didn't see that question, so sorry. If CIG plans to give us customizable habs, how will they work with the hangars we currently have, do you think? We're going to get rid of the hangars that we currently have, the hangars that you can spawn in separately. You're going to be able to have physicalized custom habs and physicalized custom hangars and cargo decks and things like that on ships. And you'll be able to buy storage space there. You'll be able to customize your thing. We need server meshing really for this. We need, at the very least, we need full persistence and the iCache. But it's a little while off. But yeah. Do you think they will make the Holy Order of Roberts canon, where we can hold worship and tribute? Yeah, of course. We'll be doing that regularly. So. Okay, I was posing a really random question. This is just a thought exercise. Do not get offended. But I was saying, crunch in other games, it seems to be much less in Star Citizen. Obviously, terrible crunch with some games and stuff that they used to get the games out at the end. Now, if they said, yeah, we can get Star Citizen out in 3 months if we have the most brutal aggressive crunch and people could get really, really ill there, yeah? Morality aside, as someone, as a consumer for the game, would you want that? And I bet a lot of people would be like, yeah, fuck it. I was thinking about it, I was like, people are monsters really at heart. You're monsters. You think going to have a military ship sale in the free flight / fleet week? Yes. Yes, I think. Military skins, new skins for some load of ships, military skins, fleet week skins, and lots of military ships on sale. That would be my expectation. Do you think that the Theatres of War demo will happen with free flight? I think that it's going to be a closed weekender that you might be able to apply for. Don't know for sure. There will be the chance for people to test in the future Theatres of War, but I'm not sure how closed the first one's going to be. What else have we got here? Can you do a joint show with FDR? Oh man! So people were telling me that he was angry at me again recently. He's more than welcome to his opinion. I was a little bit offended by his very aggressive CitizenCon rant at me. Look, I create Star Citizen content. I do most of the news, and my channel's got quite big from it. Like I don't think I'm above anyone else. I don't think my opinions matter more than anyone else. I think I'm pretty chill, and obviously I've got a vested interest in Star Citizen doing well. I want it to do well, but the reason I want it to do well is because I like it and I enjoy it, and I think it can be a genuinely amazing game. But I am critical of CRG sometimes when I want to be about specific things. I have no strings. That was me scratching my nose, not because chill, but because it was itchy nose, but genuinely. Lol. No. So people like FTR and stuff, or people that are sort of like aggressively hatred towards someone it looks terribly unreasonable, or like the rants are unreasonable. I suspect in the future we will probably meet each other at a CitizenCon or something, and we'll have a chat, and we'll probably do something in the future. That's the sort of thing that I expect from a lot of people. Like DS even. If I met him in real life, I'd probably be okay with him. Like I haven't got any beef with anyone, really, I don't think. And people might be angry at me, whatever. I desperately want to be loved. That's all I want. I just want to be loved. Fucking hell. Really enjoyed CitizenCon, actually, the actual being there. It was really great last year. Don't accept candy from CIG. Oh, wow. Will you be my best friend in the world for the next 3 seconds? DJ Brown. Yes. I love you, DJ Brown. You're my favourite. Now I'm done. When they are... Oh... So... Oh... So... Actually, people were talking about FTR, and typically, as I said, it's entitled to their opinion and everything. But I did this. So they were watching some rants about me, and then Salty Mike basically said, "Look, you are a bit of a shill, though." They're watching one of my videos.
Let's see. I bet you if I go to a random spot, he's gonna say that it's good.
I love these little like details on.
Now I know why people call you a shill. I just clicked the random spot.
Oh my god. It's true, I'm a shield. I'm a shield. I'm a shield. Oh. I'm a shield. Oh, I fucking love the Star Citizen community. Thank you for everyone that's given me like really kind messages and helped me build my channel over these many years. Quite genuinely, because it's kept me sane. It's made me a better person in the way that I organise my brain and deal with my sort of like bipolar and anxiety and stuff. And also prepared me for the terrors of lockdown. I went, oh, well, we can't leave our houses, can we? Boom! This is perfect working conditions. I've got one of the most stable jobs in the world at the moment. How good is that? I really need to pee. Might in a second. I'll try and get through some more of this. Fortunately, there's a load of people that haven't put question in brackets, which is great, which means I just ignore them. If you were to choose a system in the future of Star Citizen, which system would you put in? Star System? Sol. I want Sol in there as quickly as I can, because I like the Sol system. Because it's our system. It's Earth's star system. If it was a mechanic, I want manufacturing, crafting, or base building. Probably crafting, a proper crafting system would be fucking great. What's the estimate of a full release of Star Citizen? So, many years for everything that they've said. But for a off-the-shelf version 1 release, that would be like, this is a live release of a game. I would say, realistically, four and a half years at the earliest. Yeah? But for actual release, past beta. Yeah? Is that probably pretty reasonable? 2035, man, this thing's. I think. Maybe we're like, optimistic. 5 years is optimistic. What's the first Roberts Made game you played? Probably Wing Commander, but it might have been one of his. Might have been a game on the Master System, like one of the little RPG games. Chris Roberts games. He's 51 years old, is old Chris now. Times of Law? Did I play Times of Law? No, I didn't. I played a load of the Ultima games, which Times of Law influenced, apparently. Okay. It was Wing Commander was the first Chris Roberts game I played. Middle-aged player guides. Thank you very much, Hannah. Hannah, come. With Spacebar's confirmed, how long until Disco Chef or Chef Disco is confirmed? We could, I suppose, we could see Disco as a NPC in game at some point, couldn't we? But it's weird that we are going to see Spacebars at some point. Space Cows made a lot of sense. I'm looking forward to. Oh no, soon. I'm looking forward to seeing those animals in game. Like they're really important to have proper animals. They will help keep the game alive and feel like a living, breathing universe. Bear with me 1 second. I need to pee. Oui, mon Dieu. Poo-poo. How bad is it that I'm looking forward to being able to go to the butcher tomorrow? Like, really excited about it. Get out of the fucking house. Gotta buy a lot of meat, boy. Do you think we will be able to interact with the consumables in ships like the Carrack's mess hall or bar and stuff anytime soon? iCache, full persistence. The iCache will allow for stuff like that potentially. Hope Star Citizen doesn't become a senior citizen. We'll have it. We will have it in our lifetimes. Don't you worry. Did they get rid of the Banner Defender for the Persistent Universe? Because I own one and I haven't been able to spawn it. I haven't actually seen it in 3.9. I'll go have a play around later. I don't think I own one. Beside the issues that 3.9 had and has, what do you feel about the new additions to the game? Yeah, the survival mechanics seem reasonable. I don't want hydration to be so aggressive, but it's bearable. It's fine. The like survival mechanics, there's going to be nuances and tweaks to that. When we have physicalized inventories, I think that will really, really add to the player status system and what they've currently got there. New Babbage is great. The wind actually blowing stuff around is great when it's not bugged. Yeah, the HUD stuff for the player interaction system. I really like the ability that you don't have to go into the menu to do all of your stuff. You don't have to go into the options menu. You can do everything from there. It's contextual. Makes the game a lot easier for a lot of new players. What else do I like? Prisons. Yeah. I think prisons are going to be great at some point. What it is that I did not like the escape because I'm bad. I don't like jumping puzzles. I think that's what it is for the most part. AI seemed a lot better, but again, they still need a lot of work. I think prisons are like there's some cool stuff with the prisons. There was bugs. There was a lot of issues with the prison escape that just really annoyed me. But I'll give it another play again soon, and I'll see what I think. The new moons of Microtech looked fantastic, except for Euterpe's Ocean, the frozen ocean there. That was a repeated texture, which I didn't like. Anything else? Oh, the Prowler looked fucking beautiful. Probably not going to have a Prowler myself. Probably will give a Prowler away, though, next month. That is the plan. AI improvements were cool. There wasn't a huge amount in 3.9, to be honest. It added some quite important core systems, though. So. Don't commit crimes, then. Indeed. Well, I'm for the most part a lawful player. I will cover Outlaw gameplay on my channel. Now that CitizenCon 2050 is cancelled, do you think it's time for CIG to give a full update on planned proposal mechanics and loops, thus overriding or confirming stuff they talked about in pre-2017, so no more 8-year-old posts of a base of information? I would love that. I would love a roadmap to completion of features. Doesn't actually need to be the full roadmap, but it needs to be a list of features for completion and the latest information on those features. That's what I'd like. But yes, I'd love stuff like that. I will push for that as most as I can, as this is a good idea for you, CIG, and the game. Crime stats are dumb because I can give other people crime stats very easily. Indeed, I mean those things need to be heavily refined. As the base for a system, I understand what prisons are going to be used for, and yeah, for a large part, taking problem behavior out of the game and it's dealt with it in game is a good idea. The billboard gets asked the hard questions about CIG and its activities, and then goes to walk to the toilet. Damn right, mate. Damn right. Will streaming Cyberpunk get your channel terms of service asking for a friend? Oh, I see what you mean because it's an 18 plus game. I'll have to read into it. So when it's closer to Cyberpunk's release, I will probably get a media package from them of some description, or an email from a company that represents them, whatever, telling me about restrictions and embargoes, and if any music is not allowed on YouTube and things like that. So have a look. There might be an option to, mute nudity and blood or gore or whatever, something like that. Blur it. What is the estimated size of the game in terabytes? So at the moment, I'll give you it in gigabytes. I'll give you in both terabytes and gigabytes. So Star Citizen at the moment is 60 gigabytes or 0.06? No, 0.6? 0.06 terabytes? Wait. Why is my brain having so much problem with that? 0.06 terabytes? Question mark? Can't math? Is Star Citizen a scam? I've just bought the, I think I just bought the domain, is Star Citizen a scam? And it's just going to say no in big letters. No, it is not a scam. When is the next ship sale happening? We should have a ship sale in May. We're seeing a lot of the Herc. Do you think it will actually drop before the Mercury? No. I think the Mercury Star Run will be first. Or at the same time. How important do you think it is able to trade in your ship in the persistent universe so you can use those funds towards purchasing other ships in-game rather than buying a ship outright? Look, you need to be able to buy the ships in-game now, and you can rent ships in-game now, you can buy ships in-game now, and it is viable to do that. I'm doing that, like, in a video at the moment by getting Prospector, renting a Prospector, and then buying a Prospector, and then using it to grind up for other ships, because it's so profitable to do quantum mining at the moment, quantanium mining. So, bear that in mind. They need to add the rest of the ships that are flyable in-game to be able to be purchasable and rentable in-game, because a load of them are not purchasable or rentable in-game yet. They're just sort of like, they're in-game if you've bought them, so we need them in-game to be able to be purchased. Now, I was talking to a dev the other day about this, because people were like, well, have they, I mean, I think Salty Mark said, have they forgotten about them? Or are they just not selling them on purpose? Well, I suppose they're not selling them on purpose, but I believe that's partly because they haven't got the shops in that they want to be able to sell those specific ships in yet as well. So I would expect in the medium term we will have those ships all in game, and I hope that CIG have a better. Yeah, I'm fine with them being a month exclusive or so, even a quarter exclusive. They rarely have to be when a new ship comes out. But I do want them in game in a relatively timely manner to be able to be purchased in game. Really, after a month, I'd want them in game. I originally heard that the 3.9 PTU was going to be a long one, that it dramatically shortened. What happened? Was ready for a long PTU, wouldn't have minded a later release. Yes, I think you're right there. There was problems with the 3.9 release that weren't just because of the patch, it was to do with service outages as well, causing lots of problems with the copying of items across, and there was a lot of other bugs with like replicating entities and things, so there was other teething issues as well, which if they'd still happened, even with a later PTU, would have still been a problem. With a later release of 3.9, it would have still been a problem. So. Do you think CitizenCon this being cancelled is better for development this year? It should allow them to put more time into a Q3 and Q4 2020 patch. Yeah. Oh. You guys agree with delays? I mean, there are delays. When do you think the American servers will release? What? There are American servers. South American servers. I'm not sure how they're sectioning up servers for Amazon Web Services and stuff. It should be a lot more network neutral in the future, probably with server meshing, because they'd be leveraging Amazon Web Services more appropriately rather than sectioned off servers. That's my expectation. That is not a confirmation. I'm not a fan of Ark. I played Ark a bit. Not a fan of it. Used to love Rust. You alright, Eradicator, mate? Well, I'm hoping it's not 3.10, but it's been suggested to me by a load of sources now that 3.10 is the new name for 4.0. For the Q2 2020 patch. To be more specific. Is the Prowler worth it? No. Prowler has alien tax on it. It's very expensive, and there's not a huge amount of reasons to use it in-game yet. Okay? It's a very specific ship for a very specific purpose. I would buy it in-game. Don't buy it with real money, in my opinion. It's very cool looking. Consider weathering. Do you think that CIG should glute some scale modelers like Plasmo as consultants? Good weathering is considered a high art in scale modding. I don't know. There was a lot of words there, and there were a lot of I don't know who these people are. Star Citizen pretty. Question: what are your thoughts on the quantum system from the 2019 CitizenCon from Tony Zerovic? I love them. I want Tony Zerovic to be in charge of my life. Yeah, so the dynamic economy stuff and the quantum system, it's so incredibly important to the game. That's when it starts to become a real game for what I want. I want to do a load of this economy gameplay, and I want combat and everything to be driving a lot of the economy stuff and be affecting it. And it's really important that all sort of like works dynamically with mission generation and these items being used and consumed and things like that by not just players but NPCs as well. And yeah, I think it's absolutely fantastic what he showed. I think it's the correct way to go with their system. I actually really like the idea of a player-influenced economy rather than a player-led economy like Eve. I do like Eve's, but you can break Eve's economy occasionally for huge profit for like just a few people. Are there more plans for character models? Different hairstyles, yes, and new hair tech. Piercings, tattoos, yes. Lots of stuff, lots of more customization. Hey BG, what's a good way for a new Star Citizen content creator to get the word out about their channel? So in my Discord, you're more than welcome to post about it in the appropriate section. There is literally a community content section. Try and work with other organizations and YouTubers and streamers. Get involved with them. Don't necessarily have to be streaming or anything. Just talk while they're on their channel. Be friendly. Make yourself known in the community. It doesn't have to be constant promotion of your channel or anything like that. Get involved with multiple orgs. Talk about stuff. Get them involved in your videos rather than telling them about your channel necessarily. Do you see what I mean? You're not spamming your channel like, I've got this channel, watch my channel. You're saying, do you want to be involved in this? Do you want to do a video? I'm going to put this video up. I can just be helpful on your stream and chat. And then people will start to get to know you in the community. So you want to build presence as well and brand at the same time as actually increasing and doing more and more videos and stuff. And you're going to be learning your trade for a long while when it comes to how YouTube works and how to make videos and stuff. So watch a load of other people's stuff, ask advice, talk to other people, don't spam on other people's channels or their streams, but get involved in them and talk about that sort of stuff. You'll need to work out how YouTube works with tagging practices, good titles, good thumbnails. Don't be clickbait unless the clickbait is accurate to your content. It's not clickbait when it's accurate. You want thumbnails and titles to be enticing. Does CIG do small unannounced hotfixes between major patches? Yes, they do. Do you think the iCache is going to be effective and life-saving as server-side object container streaming? They're still dialing in that server-side object container streaming at the moment. And yes, it's an essential part of the game. I know every content creator and the White Knight has blabbed about it for at least a year. It's essential for Star Citizen. And I think the side effect is that we hope that in the short term that will give huge amounts of improvements and stability as well. But it is obviously a core part of Star Citizen. It's essential. How am I holding up during the global situation? I'm doing all right. Lockdown isn't awful for me because I can work from home and all my hobbies are done from home. Other than, socialising in real life and drinking. As soon as I'm able to go to the pub, I want to go to the pub as soon as it's safe to. Obviously, I live with, at the moment, looking after and living with two vulnerable people. So, don't want to just go, I'm out! Come back ill! Sort of thing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to go to the pub with my friends again, play Adaptus Titanicus, 40k stuff, board games and stuff with my friends. Looking forward to actually going to see DC, Zin and Kit and Zen and all my other mates. I'm playing board games with them IRL as well. And Cameron. Sorry, Cameron, I missed you out on that list. Ian Noodle as well. Noodle. What do you think about the jail system being implemented with the current state of the game? Hate that you can't try missions knowing for sure that you'll end up in jail since the game isn't stable. Oh, I see what you mean. Like, if you get put in jail for low-level crimes, you're only in jail for a very short period of time. But yeah, I can see it's annoying. Do you think they will add in hot and cold gameplay mechanic for missing client missions to make it easier to find the client? Oh, so like tracking them down. Yes, there will be scanning and tracking down of players, NPCs, and all that sort of jazz in the future. You think CIG will push off fixing the missile rack on the Constellation till 4.0? Don't know. Don't have any information on that. Crunch? Question mark? Other than the purchasable modder manual, what support will modders and content creators get from CIG when it releases? We don't know. We don't know. They said they wanted private servers, they said they wanted modding, and they said that was still the plan last time that CIG talked about it. I'm back to ask about the that Origin announcement that was mentioned weeks and months ago with no update. Think something unforeseen will come up since that announcement? No, I think we'll see. I think we'll see a concept sale or straight to flyable ship at some point in the near future. That's Origin. Server meshing isn't a miracle drug, folks. No, but it is essential for Star Citizen to be an MMO. When do you think they will fix rubber banding and desync? So I think we need server meshing, really. It's not a miracle drug, but we do need server meshing before we're going to see a lot less. And we need stage 2 server meshing. So we're going to need the dynamic server meshing and that to be dialed in before we stop seeing rubber banding and problems with the netcode, because they need to do a load of fixes and stuff and then dial it in and get it refined. And there's going to be problems when they add new patches and things. So bear that in mind. They are working on a huge amount of network stuff that will make it better and better and better. And you'll see this in like Theatres of War. It should be in a very good state. But that's when they've got a much more controlled server environment with less players, less going on in it. And they've got a load of the Dead Reckoning stuff and rewind time stuff working. People are yelling that it will save Star Citizen. It's essential for Star Citizen to be an MMO, server meshing. It's essential. Will it save it? I mean, Star Citizen doesn't need saving. Star Citizen needs making. You can save it after you've built it, and if anything goes wrong, then it might need saving. But when they've finished the game, then we can talk about anything else that needs to happen. Seen a ship that had 80 crew in it. If this is true, how are they going to have their max servers 50? They're not. They're going to have huge max servers, and they're going to have server meshing for it as well. I mean, some of the ships, like the King ship, they can have hundreds of Vandalin. The Idris can have like 70 or so, and the Javelin probably more. So. You don't have to faff around for 15 minutes at a time with food and drink. Just have some food and drink on you. You can store it in different suits of armor. Actually, there's a video coming out later today on my channel, which will have some tips and tricks for food in it as well. But the food and drink gameplay is not it's not sort of like invasive. It is part of your natural break. If Chris Roberts suddenly imploded, how much quicker than 4.5 years would the game be finished? They'd have to appoint a new director, and I think probably Aaron probably take over in my expectation. The Calder brothers and people would talk about it though, I suspect. It'd be a slightly different game. Obviously, a lot of his vision's already there, and a lot of people know what he would want. Be interesting. But I'm glad that Chris is behind the helm with at least the vision. I do think he's overly perfectionist on a lot of stuff, and a bit too overly minutiae detail at this stage for a lot of stuff. So that is causing extra delay where there doesn't necessarily need to be. But maybe we'll get an amazing game, much better than we would have otherwise out of it. Oh yeah, so when we have Layer 3 in the game, there should be a sandworm on it. We saw the sandworm in the 2017 Gamescom? No. Gamescom? A while ago. 2016? I can't fucking remember now. Does the Prowler have any other uses? So, it can carry troops. That's its main purpose. It's a stealthy troop armored carrier for EVA and boarding and assaulting things. It doesn't have any cargo space. New favourite moon in Microtech? Yeah. Kaleo's good because I mine a lot of quantanium there. Can I ignore food? So, if you don't eat or drink for several hours, typically, you will eventually die. So you want to have some food and drink at some points. Typically, when you go back to stations to sell stuff, or you rearm, repair, and refuel, grab some food and drink. I always carry a bit of water around with me because I'm running around lots. You can find harvestables on planets and on them as well. Do we have an ETA on server meshing implementation? They originally, at the end of last year, said they wanted server meshing almost completed by the end of this year. So I would expect it probably completed by Q2 2021. Lots of in-game stuff planned. Yep. As 3.9 is more stable. If you think Star Citizen release would be in 4+ years, do you think it can survive the drop-off in sales over the years as the game becomes more mainstream and reaches its player base? What? It'll get more and more players. It'll get more money and more players because it gets more and more mainstream. What are you talking about? I'm confused. Hi, oh, I lost the thing. Hi, Bod. Hi. What's up, Board? Do you think 4.0 is going to be the Jesus patch for ship combat? So the next patch is actually probably going to be called 3.10 now. They're using 4.0 as for Pyro. They're changing the naming system. And we should see more about that this Friday. I do think that the Q2 2020 patch, the end of June patch, the 3.10 patch, probably, it's got a lot of changes to ship combat. I don't know how good those changes are going to be until they're in our hands. And I'm not going to be the best person to judge if those are actually good meta-wise straight away. There's going to be the more... the players that get into that sort of like more aggressive meta PvP and combat, they're going to be better to judge than me. But I will attempt to understand and relay their opinions. People do know of my lovely, polished, shiny potato head. Ba, ba, ba. When do I think server meshing version 1 will be implemented? So there's two versions of server meshing. There's static server meshing and there's dynamic server meshing. So static server meshing is going to have the each individual location, so each planet potentially, and each moon on its own server. Yeah, each major station, major area on its own server, which then dynamically shares information between other servers. Yeah, perfect. That's stage 1 server meshing. That is what I suspect we will get Q2 2021. Yeah. Then there's dynamic server meshing, which is going to take a bit more time, which spins up and down object containers. They can be ships, they can be rooms, they can be individual little areas. It spins up and down servers dynamically for those object containers based on population, and they're nested. So you can have a ship that's run by an object container, or a whole planet that's run by an object container, or a planet and a single room on that planet as well, run by a separate server. When you say we need dynamic server meshing to make desync and rubber banding better, you know, I've got... So, to be able to have fixes, permanent fixes for desync and rubber banding, we are a way off. They can short-term triage it and make it less. You're still going to have it to some extent. And then there's going to be bugs and problems, and there's going to be new network code, and there's going to be new features and stuff that cause it, or cause some level of it. We need server meshing fully done, and then them to then look at the desync and rubber banding fully, and then finish off their network code before we don't have problems with network code anymore. That's what I'm saying. Because otherwise you're still going to have varying levels of issues with it. Any news about the implementation of VR support? After they've integrated Vulkan, so we should start to see their Gen 12 renderer stuff this year. Then they'll start talking about VR a little bit, and probably going, yeah, in a few years we'll probably implement VR. We've got some data now, and we're keeping it in mind. That's the sort of stuff we're here. Eventually, I would suspect to see VR support for Squadron 42. I don't have a T-trolley by my computer, but I probably should. After more people found out how horrible the Urza is since escapes from prison, is a horrible experience made worse by the Urza? Do you think they might revisit and rework it? So they need to get wheeled ground vehicles working in different gravities and better in just normal gravity anyway. You know what I mean? So there needs to be tweaks to that for sure. But in lower gravity planets and on low gravity moons and things, it is atrocious, some of the stuff. Or jarring, I suppose, is the correct term. Outside of the Crusader service and Crusader Industries, the Hercules. Yeah, I'm excited for Orison. I'm excited for Crusader. I'm excited for Space Worlds. I'm excited for the Hercules and the Star Runner. Is it true that the prison is on a separate server and the first version of server meshing? Not as far as I'm aware, no. What do you think is the ultimate goal for server cap? I think the ultimate goal with server cap is, if it is at all possible, everyone on the same Giga server. They might have to separate it by a certain amount, or it might have to be separated by region. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Based on your tours of CIG's offices in the past years, have you seen anything? Have you seen everything you've seen released to the public? No, I have not. I've seen some Squadron 42 stuff as well, so. I'm still waiting for my golden ticket reward. Do you know if there is a golden ticket reward? I know I've talked about... what about the Endeavour? We don't have any more information on the Endeavour. There's going to be lots and lots and lots of little science things coming, and farming and stuff, and then they'll probably build more stuff into the Endeavour and talk about it, and then eventually release the Endeavour. But the Endeavour is so complex as a ship. What exactly defines whether a ship has a red marker? So, if they're a criminal and you're not, or if they have attacked you or one of your party. I believe that's what defines them. No. Thinking they just have a certain level of criminal rating, they're marked, rather than if you don't. I think even criminals between criminals. I don't know if they're in your party though. I need to test that. I haven't actually tested that. Do you think any other developers would attempt this level of game immersion? Yeah, if they could get the funding. They'd attempt to do a Kickstarter for it, for sure. Do you think there'll be any more free flies anytime soon? There's supposed to be a free fly at some point in May with Fleet Week. No worries at all. Thank you very much. Attention, bald guy. Boop. I love you, bro. Thanks for hanging out with us today. No worries, J-Bird. I love your fucking face, mate. You're a good chap. Most of the people here are pretty good. Pretty good people. Noon, thank you very much for the sub. I didn't see that. Sorry. I do apologise. Shane Morris. Here's war officially renamed Starship Wars of Galactica. Oh, dear. Monster. Any idea why Aaron Roberts stepped down for Squadron 42? No, it wasn't. So Aaron is concentrating more on the persistent universe. Brian Chambers is concentrating more on Squadron 42. That just makes more sense, right? Well, it makes sense. Getting the studios in specific areas to do specific things. They're specializing. Do you think we will be getting modules for any ship anytime soon, like within 2 years? Yes, I think. I was hoping this year, but it's going to be almost certainly next year. Modularity for ships and customization for ships next year. That's what my expectation is. Should good morality have players have more of a risk for playing the hero going after the criminal players? Yeah, risk and reward. Risk and reward for all areas in the game. So is the Hercules going to launch with 3.11 now? That's what... Oh, no. So the Hercules isn't technically on the roadmap yet. Is it? Just to make sure. There's vehicles. I think we've got the Mercury Star Runner for 4.1, which should become 3.11. And I think for 4.2 or 3.12, we will have the Q4 2020 patch is when I'd expect to see the Hercules. Do you think Dual Universe will complete and get out before Star Citizen? Yes, I do. How do you rationalize and justify a company charging hundreds of dollars for ships for a digital product? It's their... What do you mean? It's how they've made their money. People want to pay that to support the game. I rationalize it and justify it by capitalism. It's people want a product, people pay for a product, people get the product hopefully they paid for. And that is something you can certainly criticize with Star Citizen. Are they going to get the product that they think they've paid for or want it? Or are they being sold dreams? That is something very different. But I justify that with capitalism. What else we got here? Maybe they will sell ships when the game goes live, though. People are saying that they're not planning to sell ships when they go live. Well, when the game goes live, they're going to be selling in-game currency. They're going to be selling starter packages and probably ships up to a certain level. And maybe they'll look at other monetization options. Maybe they'll still do concept ships. Maybe they'll still do straight-to-flyable ships, which you can purchase at the earliest possible stage with money. Would you be upset if they did that? I probably wouldn't. As long as those ships that they keep on bringing out aren't just better than other ships. There's going to be a free flight at some point in May for at least a week. Do you think that as the implementation of server-side object container streaming will help improve the server performance over time? Yes. It needs to be dialed in. And there's also a load of other server side and network code stuff that's being put in the game this year. It's all incredibly important. Stinky Finger Gaming, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. Oh, people on YouTube, if you are in the UK, Ireland, Brazil, and some other countries, and you have YouTube Prime, you may have a free YouTube membership, channel membership, to give away. Feel free to use it on mine if you do have that. That would be great. I'd love you forever. If you don't, then use it on someone at least. A lot of people won't have access to that. A lot of people don't have YouTube Prime. A lot of people aren't in the countries that are applicable. But there's like a bonus that keeps on popping up on my screen saying, tell your audience that YouTube Prime members will be able to subscribe to your channel for free for this month until the end of May. And like, okay, well, I will then. Hope all is good with everyone. Something clever in the brackets. Cheers. Thanks, bud. Thanks, Shy. I appreciate your clever comment. You star. Oh, TV Liquid. Thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. More people subbing. I had loads of subs today. I had loads of money today. I've had loads of X today. Thank you. Very much appreciated. Any idea where I can buy the new backpack undersuit? So, are you talking about the Pembroke Thermal and the Novikov suit. Novikov can be bought in Port Tressler above Microtech in the station there, and the space station, in the armor shop. And then for the Pembroke, it is... One second. I've literally had a brain fart. Lawville on Heston, in the armor shop there. My brain imploded. Like, where is it? Oh, you can buy the rocket pods in Cinemask, can't you? And rockets are not for missile racks. How much money do you think has been wasted by Chris Roberts chasing non-important things for the game, like coffee makers, bartenders, and unique clothing per zone versus ship-to-ship docking? So I mean, it's different for different people. Okay, so for example, bartenders and coffee makers and things like that, and baristas, but the social NPCs are important for the game. Just because you don't think they're important for the game at the moment does not mean they're not. And obviously they're going to be a huge part of the universe being living and breathing, but also as part of Squadron 42. And bartenders are an example of, when we have them, gold standard FPS AI that are social AI. I suppose not FPS AI, social AI. You an Earth pimp or a terror simp? Nice. My Orc and my Black is neither, I think. We're disenfranchised with the UEE. But we're still lawful. Will we get fake transport undercodes or ship manifests for smuggling? There's supposed to be like different ways of smuggling stuff. You can get like containers that will potentially shield you from scans, missions and stuff. So we don't know all the different ways you'll be able to smuggle things. I expect it to expand out though. Once that big boy Pioneer, along with base construction, comes as part of the game, what planetary body are you going to call your home? Lots of them, lots of different ones. Whatever has the most exploitable resources on it at the time. With 3.9 being so hostile to griefers, do you think CIG will introduce NPC griefers to restore the balance? Nice. How do you justify paying something? Oh no, I've lost that. Sorry. How do you justify paying money for something you want, digital or otherwise? Why do you look above while answering questions? Because I'm reading questions from different sources and different things. I've got a readout for lots of different chats. What's your best guess about when the Corsair is going to be released? I don't have any information on the Corsair at all. Q2, Q3, 2021? Question mark? I think what do we got here? Do you think that CIG will implement more features for military RP side of the community? More ships, skins, armor, missions? Yeah. What are your thoughts on waiting for the Merchantman or plan on the C2? Both gameplay options are appealing. I am much more interested in the Merchantman for myself. I like the idea of having shops on board and that sort of level of trade. Criminals constantly getting away in quantum travel when bounty hunting, having no reason to fight. I would like to use my Mantis to keep them from running. How will illegal versus legal quantum disruption be differentiated? That's a good question. I suppose who it actually stops and why it stops them. I mean, it could have fines. It could have heavy fines if you catch people that you're not supposed to. I think that's probably a better way of doing it. Or... It's an interesting one. Yeah, they could move it over to fines, and if you do it multiple times, then it becomes more and more legal. And the high-speed combat that's planned for the next patch, for Q2 2020's major patch, that should potentially prevent people from running away so easily, because I think they're probably going to have it like you have to go at your SCM speeds to be able to go into quantum. And they might even have sort of like weapons and things to be able to slow you down, not just quantum enforcement devices. What are the future access points going to do in the future? Allow you to dock, ship to ship, ship to station, stuff like that. Have you heard anything in regard to the tumble ranges? Nope. Do you think data running will be implemented with the release of the Star Runner? I think we'll start to see some data running-esque missions, and data as cargo probably around the same time. So potentially by the end of this year. Are you paid by CIG or RSI? Nope. I'm considering taking ships for them from them for giveaways. They offer it to other content creators, and up until now I've not done that. I've not accepted stuff from CIG. I've not accepted computers or trips to Gamescom or money or anything like that at all. I've accepted office tours from them when I've asked for them. And I went to CitizenCon 2019 as press, but I paid for my ticket. Paid for my travel, and I paid for my CitizenCon ticket. Talking of coffee, do you think we'll see a refillable thermos type mug that can be stowed away? I do think we'll see other ways of storing food and that sort of stuff in the future, yes. When do you think we'll get the ability to have player-to-player transactions for sending money to each other? I would hope that we'd get it by the end of this year. They've got a load of the systems in place for it already. I think we just need the iCache and then full persistence. Judo Warfare, thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. 3.10 is same as 3.1. No. 3.10, or whatever they call 4.0. So they're changing the naming convention for the next patch. So the next patch we have on the roadmap is 4. Let me explain. Next patch is currently listed as 4.0. This will be changing on Friday probably. So they've said that they want to keep the 4.0 moniker, the number 4.0, for when we have Pyro in, the new star system. Bam! And then they're going to use 4.0 for that. So they're changing some of this name convention. The most likely, and what I've heard it's going to be, is 3.10 rather than 3.9. So the Q2 2020 patch will be 3.10. If you see patch notes for 3.1 at the moment, that is for 3.1, which is several years ago. It's not 3.10. 3.10 would be its own new patch. They might call it something else, but 3.10 is the most likely. If that made sense. Yeah, no worries, banana mate. When do you think there will be another concept ship, straight to flyable ship? I would expect to see one in May, with the Fleet Week. I'd expect to see potentially some new ship or ships or vehicles there. People are talking about potentially having the F8 Lightning on sale. We don't know that for sure, but there's been rumours for it. And we'll certainly see some ships go back on sale, and looks like there's going to be skins for them as well, new skins. Do you think we will see the Prospector saddlebags working this year? We could see it with ship-to-ship docking. I mean, that's what's required for them, so they can be detached from the ship, basically. Potentially. We need them to be able to be grabbed by another Prospector or another ship, though. I suppose they've got the push-pull system and the gravity module for the multi-tool planned, which we could probably see this year. So, when do you think we'll see Space Cows and Space Whales being in-game? Before or after Pyro? After Pyro. If possible, where can I see for how long I'm subscribed to your channel? Thanks, PG. I have no idea. We'll have to Google how to do that, because I don't know. They should call it 3.9.1 or 3.9b. Well, okay, so the next mini patch is 3.9.1. The next major patch is whatever they rename 4.02, which is probably 3.10. 3.10. We're downgrading! I know, right? Right. I'm probably going to dash off. Do you know math? Isn't the F8 Lightning a backer reward, though? And planned reward for completing Squadron 42. So getting to a certain level in Squadron 42, a certain area, will allow you access to purchase it in Star Citizen is the idea. That's what CIG have said. Would be a bit odd, but not surprising if they sell it. They might sell it. We don't know. There's a lot of speculation on that. But I'm probably going to dash off in a second. Or I am going to dash off in a second. I'll leave you hosting. I'll host. I'll get someone else. I'll be hosting someone else. Brain literally exploded there. So yeah, I am doing really well. So thank you very much for all the kind messages. It's very much appreciated. My dad is doing really well at the moment. So thank you so much. I'm sure there will be times in the future I'm like, ah! But at the moment, it's good. And I'm enjoying the time with my dad. And I'm going to go to the butcher tomorrow. Get out of the house, get some delicious 4 rib of beef. Thank you so much for the money they've chucked at me today, and the subs, and the follows, and the primes, and the YouTube member joins, and the donations. It is very much appreciated, and thank you very much for asking so many questions. A quick question. I just got the Freelancer and love it. Also have a Hornet now. Is that a loner? Almost certainly, yes. Are you going for din-dins? I'm not going for din-dins yet. Or maybe I am. I am. It's pretty late. I'm hungry as well. I don't know what I'm going to have for food. I'll probably have some salmon and a jacket potato. Probably what I'll have. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate all the kind words for my dad and stuff. It is appreciated. It's more for me, to be honest. It makes me feel better. I'll tell you that. My dad's doing pretty well. We're going to feed him and look after him, and yeah. I'm expecting a computer to come tomorrow, so more about that later. I've got this. I've got 2 12 terabyte drives, which I'll be putting in my new computer, and we'll see how that does. We will be building a Star Citizen focused computer, something a bit special in the near future as well. So that is that. What else have we got? Oh, we got the later on today, so I'll probably either cover it tonight or more likely tomorrow morning. We've got the monthly reports for Squadron 42 and for the Persistent Universe. Really looking forward to those. I always look forward to them anyway, but they give us a lot of insight for what's going to be happening with 3.10/4.0, whatever they called it. And then Friday, we'll learn more about what the new naming convention is, hopefully get some more updates on what's going on with Star Citizen. And soon, next week, the week after, we should have Fleet Week, which will be at some time in May, and that will be a free flight. There'll be chips on sale. We might see something new. We might see the F8 Lightning. Who knows? But I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you stay sane during this lockdown period. If you need to reach out to another human, please do. If you want to talk on my Discord, whatever. If you've got an organisation that you'd like me to have in the organisation spotlight as well, drop me a message either on Discord or contact@boredgamer.co.uk. Because I'm going to get Zin to look through them. I've got a couple that I've planned to do in the next few weeks already. But there's obviously send me more details. If there's any apps as well, any apps or products or Star Citizen useful things, like obviously I've done Game Glass and stuff before, but anything else like that, feel free to link me. Stay safe. Thank you very much, Luke. I will try and stay safe. I'm going probably wrapped up like a mummy to the butcher tomorrow. I mean, obviously overly panicking. It's more just, I want to protect my parents and make sure they're not worried. When is the Hornet mount available in game again? I'm hoping they get that in properly for 3.9.1, because it wasn't in, as far as I was aware, the speciality mount for it wasn't in 3.9. But let us go and host someone. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is very much appreciated. Hopefully I should have a video out within the next 2 hours, if Zin isn't unable to finish it. Who do you want to see? Moist Noodle? Bad News Baron? Maya? Morphologist? Who shall we... Who we host? Doris? Will you make a video about your fleet and explain why you got those ships? Okay. Yeah, I can do something like that. I love you too, Amu. Omayu. Amu. Thanks for the stream. No worries at all. Gonna pick one of these people at random. Okay, let's host Morphologist. He deserves some love. I love Morphologist. He's a good chap. Boop, boop, boop. Slash raid morph. Bam. Thank you very much for watching. Very much appreciated. I should be... Me and Zin will probably be streaming some gameplay later this week. So, check that out. But if you've got any feedback or any love you want to give, whatever, contact me at contact@boredgamer.co.uk. Love your faces, guys. You take care. Talk to you soon. Peace out and all that lovely stuff. Mwah.